Hey Leo, welcome to your September reading. I am using the Sacred Forest Oracle as the keywords at the top for this reading. I haven't worked with Sacred Oracle at all. These are brand new cards, other than for the readings for this month, and I am loving them. So you're seeing them as I am seeing them, and obviously I read intuitive, so if you follow me you'll know that. And yeah, these are, I'm loving it. You'll get to share them with me. Oh, can you ask Silver to put that on charge? Sorry, I'm a single parent, so I have the children at home. They will interrupt, but it's live, right? And then I'm using the Everyday Witch Tarot for the main read. So how I'm doing these readings, again, as you know, I am intuitive with my readings, so I may not necessarily read them as they are, and I sometimes am guided just to kind of read them in a certain way. And that happened this month, so it's kind of different to my previous readings and the layouts, but I'm loving it. I'm thinking I'm going to stick with it. Your cards are coming out different to how I've had them with others as well. Interesting. We'll see what that means. But yeah, how I'm reading it is we have the keywords at the top, and then we have kind of the energy that we are working with currently, but I will do that individually. So we have 4 columns, and then below that we have the energy of where we're going, and if we, take the guidance from the card above, where we will be at with that. So I'll be reading them in columns, and I'll explain as I go. Okay. So we have Dragon Power as your first one. How cool is that? That's the imagery. My lighting is really terrible. I think it's this time of year where the sun is the other side of the house. I'm not going to be living here for probably much longer, so hopefully we'll be able to have better lighting in future. But basically there's a dragon and a sleeping girl. Let me see what this gives you. So power, I definitely feel like in September you are feeling your power. We've just been in Leo season, we're in Virgo season now, and I feel like this is a great switch for you. So, you're in your element, and then you go into energy where it's kind of like you won't take no for an answer. It's that kind of like, I'm just going to go for what I want and I've got it. This is the power I'm feeling from you. I feel like you are kind of leadership, kind of vibes coming from you. So I get kind of 2 feelings with this. So for one, I feel like you could be in the position of a dragon. Again, it's that not taking no for an answer. I feel like this can be, there are negative connotations to both things that I'm going to say. And this could perhaps be the guidance that you're working with. We have Mercury in retrograde coming up. I'm hoping to do readings for those. Depends on how my timeline goes. But I feel like with that, this can really bring things to the surface that make you have to work on certain things. And this could be it. Because it feels as though you may be being too authoritative in your life. So you're more as in people around you are trying to tell you, for example, I'm going to use an example so you know where I'm at. For example, you are pushing for something and someone's trying to tell you, yeah, but hang on, just wait a minute, we need to work on this. And you're going, no, I'm doing it. This is what I've done. I set my mind to it. You're really kind of not acknowledging that there's more to it or the other people within the situations. This is where being that dragon can really be negative for you. However, it's a powerful thing, and it's finding the balance in that. And this is what you're doing this year. I feel like you've been working on your kind of victim, I won't say mindset, but it is mindset, but kind of victim feels that you've been dealing with through grief and what you've been working on, a lot of you. And so this is now a turnaround that you are on the other side of it, and it's kind of now finding the balance on this other side. You've kind of been able to tip the scales, and now you're trying to balance it rather than go from one thing to another, right? This is how I'm seeing it. The next is being the sleeping lady, that some of you may be being that dragon that's going too far, and the others of you are not embracing your inner dragon, and perhaps still allowing others to walk all over you. But I feel like you are feeling that inner dragon, but whether you're allowing that to filter out in your life could be that you are still on that verge of feeling ready to embrace that. That's how I feel the opposite sides of this card is. So it really is about bringing that into balance, because I feel as though it's there, it's brewing, or you've got it brewed, but too much. You've overbrewed. So this is to me a moment of balance. And I feel like this is the power here that I'm feeling in you. Is like you have what you need. It's just about bringing that into fruition, where it is bringing that abundance you're thriving towards. That's what I'm going to say for you, Leo. Interesting. Our first card is Eight of Swords in reverse. So again, I feel like you're seeing things for sure, what's ahead of you. You're no longer feeling trapped is what I want to say. So this is what I mean by being on the other side of that kind of negative aspect of our life of this year. It's definitely, and it's happening for all signs, we're kind of tipping the scale into our favor now. We've allowed ourselves to go through what we've been through, and now we're not being in that space anymore. We're not allowing it. We're here, right? And this is what I feel for you. I do get, again, this sense of hesitation, because I feel as though it was more comfortable to be in that space. And this is the Lion Lady side of this, that I'm feeling as though you feel like you're not ready. But I want to tell you that you are ready. That's what's flowing through me, is like that you're ready. And I'm feeling the power of that. And what you have is on the other side, or like what you need is the other side of this. So even though you might feel more comfortable taking your time in it, I want you to know that what you need is on the other side of this. So get out of those comfort zones. Now, Mercury in retrograde will show you that that's what you need to do. So if you're not doing it, it will come up and you'll realize maybe I should be. And this is what Mercury in retrograde is going to do. It communicates with you what's not happening, what's not right, what needs to change, right? It's not there to inconvenience your life, even if it does. It's there to show you, to shine light on things that have to change. And you're ready. And I feel like this applies to everybody, even those of you in this dragon sense. Perhaps you are being that most stubborn and like head on strong, is because there's that fear of not fully being ready and you wanting to be ready. So realize you are ready. It doesn't mean you have to go all guns blazing, right? There's a balance. The Hermit in reverse. Again, you have been through your journey of discovery. You have been through that time where you kind of seeked your inner wisdom and went through the life path that you needed to be with. And this again is about, the Hermit card is about, introverting, to kind of need to take that time. This is in reverse. You have done that. You've been through that. So now is the time for you to get yourself out there. And I feel like this is a very literal sense, but also a very inner sense. It's no longer time to keep yourself to yourself. It's time for you to share your visions and share your views. Rainy Bag, I will come after I've done this video. Your brother and sister are not doing a good job at playing with you. We have this thing where it's like, okay, I just need 20 minutes. Here's food, here's TV, here's something. Please help look after him, and then we'll all do something together. But obviously it's not working. Daffodil Fairy, new beginnings. This is a new change for you, and this is exactly what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like this is you turning a new chapter. This is you coming onto the other side of things. You are blooming. Daffodils bloom specifically in spring. In the southern hemisphere, we are coming into spring now. And they grow kind of really quickly. As soon as those first signs of spring come, I don't see any, actually I don't think I see many daffodils in Australia, but I'm from England, as you may know. Thank you, Roombo. Okay, don't touch. And yeah, as soon as the light, the warmth starts coming, they're there. They're beautiful. They're the first things you see, along with the dandelions, and it's just beautiful, right? This is what I'm seeing for you. It's like this is the time where things are going to start, the beauty is going to start seeping through, and you're going to start kind of really envisioning where you're going. But again, for all signs, for everyone at this moment, this is like where we are getting insights to what we're growing. We're not just jumping in, and this is about taking our time, I guess, with where we're going, because there's no rushing into this. This is kind of doing it right, whereas before we may have done similar things to what we want in our life and it hasn't been achieved. This is a time where things are happening and they will be achieved, but it's sort of telling you like to grow something great, it's got to take its time. This is what it feels. But it feels like things are happening quick for you during this time and you will be seeing it. But I want you to realize that this is insight to all that you can have, to all that you can achieve. So if you are not quite there yet, that's why. Because this is not a jumping into something and kind of quick temporary thing. This is something really stable that you're working towards. Ace of Wands, definitely new beginnings, new ideas. And I feel again, you are really seeing the vision for yourself on where you can be in a year's time. This is where you're getting that kind of visual of, hang on, yeah, I can really see that happening. Three of Pentacles, again, to me, Three of Pentacles is about creating something. It is about realizing that we have people around us who can be helpful. So really do see that. But to me, I'm feeling as though there's just many ideas coming to you, and you really seeing a clearer vision of where you can be. Of where you're going and what's ahead of you. And this, like I said, how I'm reading this as well is like Ace of Wands is where you're at. The ideas are blooming. And when you're going to be at with this energy is that you're going to be bringing it together to really create something. And again, with this, it's like you have these ideas alone. I feel like this is going to grow into something bigger, where it could be collaborative. It could be that, so if this is more family orientated, because I'm very much getting this, it's like where you've done things alone. I'm being pulled, sorry. I have wheels on my chair. Where you've done things alone, I feel like this is where the idea sparks to create something. But I feel like where your vision's taking you, it can be very much that, as in you're going to start letting people in again and build something for yourself. I can see this as well being as though, you know, you've been the lone wolf and this is where you're starting from, but this is going to build into something where that energy is no longer. You, as a lion, your kind of whole thing, I feel like you need people around you and supporting you, and I feel like you know this, but it comes with you first, and you are the one that is your tool to create that environment for yourself. But either way, projects, ideas are coming through to you during this time. This is a great time for you to put pen to paper, start kind of those stepping stones towards something, but it will lead you towards that kind of communal energy. So great things. So your first card on this column is Raven Spirit, Truth. That's like a card that calls out to me for sure. The Ravenstone, right? This is truth. This is hearing things that you need to hear. This is something that sometimes I kind of like to own about myself. It's like I want to tell people what they need to hear, to guide people in ways that it might not be quite what they want to hear, but you need to hear this right now. That is truth. And I feel like that's what's coming through to you during this time. You are hearing things. And again, with this dragon energy, you might not want to hear it. You might not want to see it. You might not want to acknowledge it. But you need to. And that's what this Raven Spirit's coming to tell you. It's like, this is what you need to face. This is where you need to go if you want all that you want. And you're going to have it. But it starts with facing the truth. And I feel like during this time, with Mercury retrograde, things are going to be shown to you. It's truth. So try not to let your ego get the better of you and brush it off and be too stubborn in a dragon energy where you're like, I know all. I'm fiery. You know, Leos are very passionate beings by nature. But you have to realize being the lion means that you are also a great team leader. You are a team spirit. Are you that lioness who kind of rules her family, or are you that lion who provides for her family, for his family? I mean, the lioness kind of does too, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, are you humble in this moment, or are you going to be headstrong? And I feel like what you need to be for yourself, for what you wish to achieve, I'm getting that you need to be that male lion who kind of bows his head down when he knows it's time to submit to his lioness. And the lioness in this kind of symbology that I'm saying is kind of like that represents your life and what you wish to achieve. You can try and be a provider and be all headstrong and think that you know what's what. But I feel like this could be what hinders you. But pay attention to your life and what comes forward for you. You'll see it for yourself. It could come in terms of somebody telling you, this is why I'm acting how I am acting. I feel like there may be very much somebody who tells you outright how they feel, and it's up to you whether or not you allow the defenses within you to kind of dismiss it or face it. But this is a Page of Swords energy straight after this, so this is the energy that you are in, and this is why I definitely get this sense of headstrong, because you are directing during this time. But again, I am getting the sense of somebody being your support, and they're trying to tell you something that will help you, So be aware of that. Somebody who might be telling truths, again, you might not want to hear it. You might get defensive. It's your job to acknowledge it as you need to, I guess. But I feel like you have enough wisdom within you to kind of see the errors of your ways. It's just whether or not you allow that to be what you put out into the world. And this is the energy you're in. You feel very stubborn and stern, but I feel like you have this acknowledgement. So even if you are just internally acknowledging, I feel like alone that acknowledgement is great. But I am definitely getting a sense of applying it into your life. Sorry, the litter box is in here and somebody is in there. You're going to have many interruptions. This is mum work life, right? At home. King of Swords in reverse is the energy you're heading to. So again, where you're heading to is about submitting that headstrong kind of way of being. I feel like it's a time for you to be softer. You are going into new beginnings and new ways of doing things, and I feel like you have learned through life that being protective of your own energy served you well. But I'm here to tell you it hasn't. It's now time to kind of let that inner soft lion show himself the vulnerabilities. I feel like, Leo, I said that to you last month or even a few months before this. I feel like it's something I keep saying to you. It's time to realize that your vulnerabilities are your strengths, and allowing yourself to be that soft, cuddly version of yourself is beneficial during this time, and that's where you're heading. I feel like here the King of Swords is all about when he's in an upright position. It's like he is kind of in charge of where he's going. He knows where he's been. He's directing. He's logical in the way he is. I want you to switch that. I need you to start thinking from the heart rather than the mind. And this, to me, is the energy where you will be in. And it's about really bringing that vulnerabilities to the surface. And I'm loving that for you. But it's facing the truth, for sure, is your journey during this, which is really great. That's great guidance to get, because I think it really knocks us back a second to go, okay, I see where, yeah, I know I'm a bit stubborn and I may have dismissed this, or I like being protective of myself. I'm like that. I am someone who loves so deeply. I'm a Taurus. I work all with my heart chakra. Everything that I do comes from a place of love. That's kind of what drives me forward. It's coming from this place of love and compassion. But that comes with protecting yourself and your heart. You kind of don't let anyone else in because you're too busy thinking about them and their feelings, right? When we put these walls up. This is how I'm really sensing you have built yourself up to this space as well. And as I know within myself, I do need to let down those walls. And this is exactly what I am seeing for you, Leo, is it's time to do that. Moonlight enchantment. Magic. Definitely work with the moon with this. This comes with letting go. So what I just talked about, it's all about letting go of things. And now the full moon is that. And this is what I see as soon as I look at this imagery. First thing I see is that massive full moon. It's bringing me in. There's things for you to release, and I definitely get this sense of it is these walls. They're blocking you. This is what I feel is that tipping over onto this other side, because you do have walls up. And when we have walls up, we're defensive. When people say things that are true to us, right? And you could be doing that for me right now. You could be like, no, that's not me. Or like, yeah, but I like being this way. Like, for sure, I like being this way too, because it keeps me safe and, cuddled. However, then I don't have connections. And I'm like, why can't I connect to people? And it's because I'm not allowing them in, right? And this is the same for you. So you might not want to hear this, but it's happening. You need to. The next thing that takes my eye is this lone wolf. So I do feel like there's a lot of work for yourself to be done here, and it comes with sitting under that moon, facing things that are true. A wolf is a pack animal. That lone wolf thing is not correct. It's not a correct vision of what a wolf actually embodies, right? But it is something that we relate to. Now, a lone wolf is actually a very damaged wolf. He's been segregated from the pack for whatever reason, and this is where healing comes in. Now, this is a card that represents magic. This is when magic happens. So when we start doing the work for ourselves, again, that turnaround of things happening very quickly for ourselves works. And this is what I sense for fire signs for this month is that things can be coming really quickly to us, but it comes with these little sparks of changes that you're creating for yourselves, fire signs. Now I am Aries moon sign, so I definitely resonate with the Aries side of things as well, and that fire in me is perhaps what does make me reckless and rush into things sometimes, but I feel like that's could be very beneficial for you specifically. Most fire signs are being told to stop, slow down, but for you I'm getting get in, jump in, let's get things started, you know, and it starts with number 1. 8 in reverse, sorry, strength in reverse. I don't know why I said 8, but it's because it's number 8 in the card. So 8 could be something to do with number 8, how that benefits you. The 8th, the 28th, keep an eye on that, you never know. I always feel like when you're doing a reading, things happen for a reason that need to be seen, so take that as it is. Also could be that kind of infinity symbol as well is at an 8. So this could be that this is a cycle that is repeating for you. There's growth here as well, and I don't know why I just interpreted it that way, so there you go, there's growth here for you. Strength. Anyway, I was saying this about vulnerability. Now I feel like, again, you are realizing this. With this column, this feels very self-reflecting, but in things that you know about yourself and that you're working with. And yeah, it feels positive. The harder times are behind you. So what comes now for me, for you, is the work time. It's like you've been through the struggles, that you're on this side where you are able to work with the energies that you are embodying right now. And again, there's purpose to this, but I feel like you are one-on-one with your vulnerability and your strength and seeing that they are the same thing, because that is exactly what it is. I feel like with humanity, we have decided that through society that weakness is vulnerability, and like that's not actually true, because you'll see that the people that succeed the most are the ones who kind of embrace their shadow self in a way that they see that it's who they are and it can perhaps provide things for them in the time that they need it, right? And this is what I feel like, again, when you are doing your soul searching, this is a stubbornness where it's like, it has got me where I am today. And it has, and that's amazing. But you don't want to stay in that space, right? And I feel like this is something that you're channeling through right now, in this realization that, yes, you are happy with who you are because of what you've been through, even because it's who you are today, and that person's amazing. But no longer do you want to go through them same struggles anymore. And this comes with working with what you've been through, working with that. And I'm definitely getting this kind of moon energy with that. When we are working with the moon, it does come with a lot of this kind of self-realizations and shadow work. It activates that shadow work, brings it in. And you've been doing it, actually, Leo. You have been doing that without realizing that's what you've been doing. But now you're realizing, now you're seeing it. Now these are keys and tools and things you're working with for these new beginnings. This is a page turner for you. Loving it. This is a whole new book. This is what this is. And we're ending with the 10 of Wands, so this is where we're heading. This 10 of Wands, be wary that it can be gossip and have like kind of negative connotations. However, it doesn't feel like this. This feels communal to me. This feels like a coming together. I do feel that there's this internal struggle with you with this card as well. So this is where you're heading into this still working on self. But in terms of community, I actually feel like this is proactive. I am getting the sense of you hearing things you don't want to hear. And this can be that gossip aspect of things. You might be hearing things that are, again, things that you perhaps need to work on, because this feels very much revealing all the time. It's like revealing things. Something that just popped in as I said that, I feel like there are revelations coming through, and it may mean that it's time to let go of certain people, and it might be because you don't like what you hear, and this could be a struggle as well, as I'm saying this, that you might feel very tied to this person and been holding on to them for far too long, and you're being told to let go. It is time now to let go of that and move forward. But yes, definitely a sense of something to let go of here. And it people, persons, perhaps values, but it feels more people, persons. So there being a little bit of conflict there. It may perhaps come up. And again, Mercury retrograde brings these communications to the surface. acknowledge it, work with it. Yeah, I definitely get this sense of a lot of work coming through for you internally, but in very positive ways. But yeah, Mercury in retrograde, I hope to do readings for them so I can give you some insight, but I definitely feel like they're gonna bring communications to you, things to the surface. Truth. It's bringing truth, right? Work with it. Thank you so much, Leo. Please comment below if you have any questions, queries, or just some insights in how this affects you, or you can see this, you know, in your life. I love those kind of feedbacks, but either way, have a good month, and I'll see you next month. Thank you, Leo.